morning, good afternoon. Here we are with another wonderful episode of Who Closed Last Night? And where are we?
We're in the beautiful city of Las Vegas, Nevada.
And guess what? Today, it's a bit smoky out there.
Whew! I didn't believe it.
Whoever's doing these, not keeping track of these wildfires better do their job because it's kind of bad out there. But hey, it is another warm day. It is the end of summer and beginning of fall. And we're back. We're back here at work, and we just wanted to touch base and get on with our next podcast.
That's right. One for the guests.
One for the
audience.
So, first of all, this podcast, Who Closed Last Night, is brought to you by
Walnut Street Hospitality Group.
Walnut Street Hospitality Group is a conglomeration of restaurants and management companies, and we're looking at a couple other things out there, but we love doing what we're doing, and we came up with this podcast really to help you.
That's right. Through our business journey, I know myself personally, I've fallen on my face a few times, and I had a good mentor let me know how to get back up on my feet, dust myself off, and I think that we're trying to share those lessons with our audience and help other people from falling on their face.
That's right.
Let me take the bruise for you.
We've already gotten those bruises. There's no need for you to get all of them. And so today's topic is how to use a mentor, and is it important? And,
That's right.
And so, mentors sometimes are synonymous with coaches, but we're going to get into that. But we really would like a favor from you.
Oh, man. And it's such a small favor to ask, to be honest. It costs nothing, but it does us a great deal. It moves our channel to be in front of other people, new people, people that you might be friends with. But I'm going to ask you to do a few things for me. This would really help us and cost you nothing. Please follow, like, and share our profile. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at whoclosedlastnight_. You can find us on Facebook at Who Closed Last Night. You can watch us on YouTube, which I love to do, at Who Closed Last Night Podcast. And you can listen to us on Spotify. But my most favorite thing is sharing this with you. I'm sharing our Gmail account for you to send your Who Closed Last Night story of the day, week, month, year with us. So send it to whoclosedlastnightpod@gmail.com and help us share your story with our audience. Let us laugh with you, cry with you, relate with you.
Sounds like a good plan.
Heck yeah.
By the way, my name is Stan.
And I'm Zach.
And once again, we are here to present you with Who Closed Last Night. So, mentoring, coaching, what is the purpose of it? Is it important? Is it a good thing to do? And first, let me just tell you that one of the hardest things for people to know is what they don't know.
Wow. Wow.
And
yes.
I think, when you step into a new field, a new endeavor, sometimes you don't know everything about it. You think you do, but you end up not knowing about it. And then that's where if you have someone that...
I can totally relate to that. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
We're going to be asking you for your story here.
No.
But one of the things I think that's important is you want to have a mentor that has been or is where you want to be, and not someone, who your mentor isn't going to be that person that can't push you forward because they don't know what forward is for you. And for everybody, a mentor or a coach is different, and what you get from them is different, and what you want out of them is different. And so that's what we're going to kind of talk about today is how to use that mentor or coach. So you had something that was kind of on the tip of your tongue about mentoring or, coaching. Shoot.
I think might be a little comic relief. I was just, as you were going through it, I could relate to feeling like you knew things. And then, as you grow in life, as you grow in a role in a company, as you take on more, you probably were successful in a previous role, position, And so you make it to a new one and you go in there eyes wide open, but thinking you know everything. And you've got to be open to understanding that you don't know it all. And I don't think, to be open, honest, transparent with the audience, I don't think I'm always good at saying that I don't know everything, or I'm not prepared for, I wasn't predicting this to happen, so I wasn't ready for it, right? And I think that, as you said, that can be the hard part of growth and why a mentor is needed.
It's interesting that you say that. So, us entrepreneurs have some pretty darn big egos,
That's right.
right? And we tend to feel like we know everything or think that we know everything, even though we don't. But on top of that, we have a hard time listening to understand. And I think the one of the biggest issues of entrepreneurs, and also one of the biggest benefits of being an entrepreneur, is you just don't let stuff hold you down, right?
Right.
And sometimes you just can't back off enough of what's in your brain to let someone else positively affect you
You're going to bet on yourself every day.
every day.
Yeah.
You know, that's what an entrepreneur does, but it's that strength that is also an entrepreneur's potential weakness.
Achilles heel.
Achilles heel. So I think one of the things over the course of the journey of my life, I've been lucky to have some mentors. And some, it's interesting because my latest mentor, he was a mentor about business, but he was also through that more of a mentor about life. And, you know, he taught me things about finance.
I like hearing stories about this guy, just to be honest.
He's,
they're cool stories.
He's a wonderful guy, but he was also a tough guy, right?
Yeah.
And when I say tough, I mean he was not good at sugarcoating anything, but he always had a message. And I think the more I got to work with him and know him, he realized what I was looking for and what I needed and how to help me without me literally saying, well, I don't know that. You know, he helped me a lot. I remember one of the first times shortly after I met him, we were in a venue and I probably had only been with the company 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
And he said, hey, come up here, bring your drink over here. And I came up and talked to him, and we talked a little bit. And this is when I first got to know him. And he asked me, what's your goal? And I said, oh, I want to be successful here in this company, right? And he laughed at me, and he goes, no, don't bullshit me. What's your real goal? I mean, what kind of money do you want to make? What do you want to do? How successful do you want to be? And how
That's pretty cool.
hard are you willing to work for it? And I said, well, honestly, I want to make a lot of money. Well, what's a lot of money?
Right.
And so I, you know, not being too stupid, I said, well, I think probably a lot of money for me is not going to be a lot of money for you.
Right.
And he said, well, let me tell you a little story. He said, you know, my goal is to make $50 million a year.
We might have to go back and edit out my eyes getting big.
And he laughed because he
Right.
said, no, that's not really the case. But he said, I want to have a net worth of at least $1 million or $50 million.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, and I'm, you know, I'm creeping up on it, but I'm working on it, and I need to surround myself with people that are like-minded.
Mm-hmm.
And that did a couple things for me. First of all, it set my sights higher than I would have ever set my sights for myself at that time.
That's a great point, because to have that vision, you have had to gone through the fire,
Yeah.
right? To not have a ceiling.
Or to have a ceiling so high that most people think you're smoking crack. And I think that's the difference, I think, between very successful entrepreneurs and people that, you know, are kicking it off, right?
Right.
Is that there's no ceiling that's too high. If you can imagine it, you can do it. And I think that's kind of what he left me with. And I remember him telling me a story one time, and he said, "Yeah, I was down to my last $5 million." And I'm thinking, what the hell are you talking about?
He's running on E.
Yeah, that's kind of what he said.
I'll take that car.
But here's the interesting thing, which I've grown to find out, is a lot of money is relative to the amount of debt, right?
Absolutely.
And when you own a bunch of hotels, what's $5 million?
Yeah.
You probably can piss that away in a month.
Right.
And so it really, we had a good laugh because we were enjoying a couple martinis when he said that. But it really sunk in later on when he said, well, I wasn't kidding. I know we're having a good time, but I wasn't kidding.
Dang. Yeah.
And to me, that started to set the foundation of what I needed from him. And I think that's the important thing, is to understand that, wow, I don't know how to make money.
I wasn't even thinking about that arena.
I was thinking
4 dimensions to the left.
Yeah, at that time I'm thinking, how do I buy a house? And so it was very interesting. A lot of his lessons, and I think what I really appreciated about him is he wasn't making the lesson.
Right.
He was giving me experiences, and those experiences, he's a smart guy. He knew was teaching me a lesson.
You analyzed those experiences and pulled out the lesson, and that's probably way more valuable to you, right?
Right.
Than him trying to shove something down your throat. And I'm sure it wouldn't have gone like that, but
It could have.
well, I never met the gentleman, so I've only heard good things.
So I guess what I'm saying is, you have to figure out how a mentor or coach plays into where you are, how a mentor or coach can help you get to your next level, and how to mentor or coach people coming along in your trail.
That part, how to learn how to become a mentor for the people that you lead, was something that, you being a mentor to me, I think one of the things that sticks with me is that everybody needs to be led differently, right? And everybody has a different personality type. Everybody has a different motivation. Everybody has a different set of skills, and everybody in their individual life are chasing an individual goal. And so it's a two-way street. How do I help you so that you can help me? And I think bridging that gap and learning how to manipulate it, not in a negative way, but so that all parties leave with the reward they're looking for, or at least some tools to help get them there.
Right.
I think that was something that you as a mentor taught me, and helped me get to the next level of, leading teams full of leaders.
And that's interesting because, as I think of your organization now,
Right.
and I think of some of the people that are in it, and where they started, right, and how they started, and what you've done to build them. Because it's great to be a mentor and a coach, but as long as you have gas in your tank and you're wanting to move forward, I got to keep moving forward. And I think about the lessons frequently that I've learned, and I've been fortunate enough to also think how I can apply those to getting to my next level of achievement.
Right.
And I think but in order to do that, I've got to mentor the people to take my place.
That's right.
And I think in your role, you're thinking now, how do I mentor people to be able to free up some of your memory to get to
My RAM.
your RAM, to get to the next level of where you want to be, right? So it's like paying it forward.
That's right. And I just want to take a moment to thank the team that we have. You guys have been great to us. not only do I try to impart on you, but I learned something from each of you guys, to help develop myself. And I just got to say that I can't be successful without you guys. And I've been more successful with the addition of that team.
It's interesting that you say that because success is never about an individual.
It's a team sport.
It's more often than not, it's a team sport, and I think what's important is, especially if you're scaling something,
That's right.
to a larger size. Tell me about a time when in your life, and it doesn't have to be recent, because where you had to sit back and think to yourself, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, and then later thought, oh,
I should have listened to that guy.
I should have listened to that guy.
That's never happened to me. I'm just playing. So I ran a warehouse in the Midwest in Ohio. And I had this gentleman. He wasn't there for a very long time, but I believed he was a businessman. And he was one of the only guys that wore a suit every day. And that was respectable, right? That makes you think of someone differently, right? And I think later in life, you've taught me more along those lines of what that does for you. But his name was Mac, and again, he left an impression on me, and I don't know really what he did other than we're all here for a reason, and it's not about what gets in our way. It's how you handle each situation. And I think that at that time, I was young. I think I was 20, maybe 21. I was managing, and so it was new to me. And I think what he saw in me was that I was an outside thinker, or I didn't think, the same, not the same thoughts that most people think, right? And I could come from a different perspective and try, I wasn't afraid to get shot down with a stupid solution.
Right.
And I think that he saw something in that I didn't see in that, right? I'm just throwing stuff at the wall. And but he slowed me down, and he told me that, hey, it's not always about the obstacles, it's about how you handle the situation. And we sat and talked for an hour, and we started making it a weekly occurrence. But I think just being able to talk to someone that had been there,
Yeah.
and kind of share what I was having difficulties with. He was probably sitting over there, if I put this in frames that maybe other people understand, he's like level 50 on some game, and I'm level 2. And he's like, oh, all you got to do is X, Y, and Z, right? But it was such an easy conversation, and he didn't make it feel like he was hitting me with anything. He was like, oh, what if you did it this way? Right? Offering suggestions rather than trying to force something down my throat or force me to do something. He tried to make it seem like it was my idea.
Right.
And
right.
I think that's a mentor, right?
Yep.
It's not fire and brimstones, and it's not about me being upset with you. It's about, hey, let me have this conversation, calm you down, and let you come around to this idea. And then reinforce it.
I think that a lot of people get caught in the gray.
In the gray. Right? That's a dangerous place.
That's a dangerous place. I mean, although most of life is in the gray, people get stuck there, and they can't figure out how to get, to the black or the white, and they're mired down in this mud in the gray. And that's when, it's good to have someone you can pick up the phone and call. You can say, hey, look, this is going on. Because a lot of times, I know for me, I've called this guy, since then, and have said, hey, look, I got a question for you. And I just asked a question.
Yeah.
And of course, that question from me to him probably prompted him to ask me 3 or 4 questions, of which I ended up answering
every question,
everything that I needed to know without him really.
That's pretty cool.
Telling me. And I think that's what a coach and a mentor does for you.
Let me get rid of this fog in your mind,
right?
Right. You know the answers. You just need to calm down and think about it, right?
Clear the space a little
Yeah.
bit, right? Allow your brain to adjust.
Yeah.
I think that's what really makes him someone that even now, if I had an issue, I would call him and say, "Hey, and I think he would take my call." That's what I think a good mentor or coach does is they help you to find the best in you and help you to kick the stumbling blocks out of the way so you can move forward and achieve your goals.
And how much more credible are you to yourself when you do your own research, when you come up with your own, you want it to be right. You're strong behind it, right? And
That's
I
right.
think that's a byproduct of having a mentor is that it's something that it's an idea in your head that you came up with, and now it's being reinforced, and nobody's going to take that away from you, right? Your gas tank is full,
Yeah, yeah.
right? You're ready to go out there and fight.
So another way to use a mentor or a coach, and this could be even in your mind that someone is who is where they are and where you want to be. And I remember, this last mentor was a little older than I was, and which doesn't necessarily have to be the case, just a different experience level or a different, avenue of
Expertise.
expertise. But I would get invited to some events that I probably had never been in that circle of people before.
That can be exciting and nervous.
It was both.
Nerve-wracking.
But what I learned by watching people, without them necessarily being my mentor or coach, is how to move in that circle of people and how to be comfortable, how to be confident
Yeah.
in that circle of people. And I thought that was a non-official coaching, right? But being able to be in that situation.
I'm sure it was, and I'm sure hindsight 2020 for you. You see all the master at work kind of deal, but that means he also knew that you would observe, analyze, and react in that environment, or you would sink and get the hell out.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me get out of here.
Yeah, and then he could say, "Oh, I wasted my time on that jerk." But
Yeah.
it's about adapt or die, kind of.
Right.
And I think that's part of the coaching and mentoring process. And I think what this podcast is really about is to say, "Hey, look, don't be afraid to go find a mentor or a coach. Don't be afraid to not be the smartest person in the room. Be afraid when you quit wanting to be the smartest person in the room or quit wanting to grow and quit wanting to adapt." And sometimes, coaches and mentors are the best way to get around that obstacle.
It's like a speed track, right? To someone else, it's like this podcast. Someone else has already tripped, fallen, and stumbled, right? And someone else is telling you, "Hey, calm down. Let's think about this objectively," and then you breeze right through it.
Sure, that's
That's-
exactly right.
That's powerful.
So what we're saying out there to everybody is don't be afraid to get a mentor. Don't be afraid to get a coach. Put your ego aside. If you think we can help you, we'd be glad to listen to you. I think that one of the things that I enjoy doing is helping people to get to where they want to be because it's rewarding for me as well. But when I see somebody hit a level of competency or accomplishment, it's like, oh my God, right? It's very rewarding. And then
That's pretty cool. That's
hopefully those people though pay it forward, right? And help somebody else get to where they want to be. So again, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Don't hesitate to call us. Don't hesitate to say, "Hey, how can I get a coach?" Or "Are you guys interested?" Or what does it take? It's not always a formal coaching agreement or a formal mentoring. It can be all kinds of things. But one of the things we've learned is you can get further ahead sometimes with the right people in your corner.
And the saying, "A closed mouth don't get fed," right? So if you're having an issue, ask somebody for some help. It doesn't have to be us, right? And I'm going to ask you for some help.
See how he slid that in there?
Leave some questions for us in our comments. We'd love to answer them for you on a further podcast. But also, the help that I'd like will cost you nothing. A quick follow, like, and share right below. Please find us on Instagram and TikTok at whoclosedlastnight_, Facebook at Who's Closed Last Night. Watch us on YouTube, which I love to do, Who Closed Last Night podcast, and listen to us on Spotify. And if you have something that you are dying to share with us, we'd love to share it with our audience. It's growing, and I need your help. Follow, like, and share. But please send your Who Closed Last Night story, your entrepreneurial story, your journey to success that you've achieved story with us at whoclosedlastnightpod, Pod, at gmail.com, and we'd love to share it with our audience.
If you want, if you've got a topic you'd like to talk about or be a guest on our podcast, we'd love to have you. Just reach out to us again. And we've come to that time. It's almost time to go out into the smoke-filled environment. But
Smoky and hot in Vegas today.
Not just hot, smoky and hot. With that being said, we always leave with one word, and we're going to leave you with that one word today. And that word is aloha.